World Health Organization says more than 1,500 people have died from Ebola in this latest outbreak. Cases of the virus have also appeared in Senegal, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Nigeria, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. In this latest report, CNN takes us into the tri-country quarantine zone, ground zero for Ebola.
Monrovia itself is really only part of this puzzle. It's only part of this unfolding crisis. To get a better sense of what's happening here, we're going to head out north up to Lofa County near the border with Sierra Leone. That's part of that tri-country quarantine zone. The roads are just so bad here. It is a legacy of the years of fighting that this country suffered through. And it is impeding an effective response to this crisis because it's not just about the lack of a healthcare infrastructure, it's also about a lack of a physical infrastructure. We just had to tow another car out of what looked like a crater in the middle of the road. We are now in Lofa County, which means we are now inside the quarantine zone that stretches through the north of Liberia into neighboring Sierra Leone and Guinea. Lofa was ground zero for the Ebola outbreak here in Liberia, and once we passed through that checkpoint, we have to go in there and get screened for Ebola before we can go any further in case we are carrying the contagion into the already infected areas.
We have 36.9.
36.9, that's okay?
Yes, okay, that's okay.
Since we got here, we haven't been touching anyone, we haven't been shaking hands, we haven't even been touching each other. It's actually been quite strange to have that distance anytime you meet someone, anytime you try and talk to someone to find out how they are, how they're feeling, to constantly keep that space between you. We've arrived at our base for the night here in Vonjima, and the last thing that we need to do before we go to bed is take our temperatures. Absolutely normal, as it probably always will be, but there is always a little part of your mind that thinks, when you're taking the thermometer out of your mouth, what if it's not? This goes into a log back at base in Atlanta, and they chart it so that they can measure for any variation in my physical state and in the team's well-being. But it also really helps with managing that paranoia, and I think that has been the biggest challenge here, and I think it's probably the biggest challenge a lot of people here face. How do you not allow your mind to go to that place every time you walk out through the door and interact with other people?
Will new legislation help resolve health care issues facing veterans? We'll talk with a member of the American Legion when DC Breakdown continues.